What are these, Professor?
You are looking at a number of bacteria in a drop of water.
And what's so amazing about these bacteria that made you call me so I would come to your lab?
I seem to recall you asking me for an interview 2 years ago.
Yes, and you refused to do it.
Very well, let's start from scratch. Think like it's 2 years ago.
Professor, you know well why I wanted to interview you.
Yes, I do. It was about the crashing of that unidentified object in the dam outside the city.
Of course, the cops had closed down all the roads leading to the dam for 2 weeks. And I also know that beside the forensic team and many other forces, you and your team were there too.
That's right. They'd asked me to be on the site.
And after 2 weeks of roads being shut down, sending troops, search parties, and basically half the country there, you did provide us an answer, right? That the thing crashing into the dam was nothing but a weather balloon.
I didn't indicate that.
That's right, you didn't indicate anything, in fact. And now, after 2 years, you've invited me to your lab just to show me a bunch of bacteria floating in a drop of water?
Hold your horses. This is exactly the story you were hunting for back then.
And what is that?
Before we begin anything, let me ask you something.
Fair enough.
What do you think had actually crashed into the dam?
Definitely not a weather balloon.
No, tell me your best guess.
I don't know. Perhaps something extraterrestrial? A UFO maybe? They definitely wouldn't have brought you there if it was just a weather balloon.
Exactly.
So you confirm that it was a flying saucer?
No, it wasn't any UFO crashing there. In fact, we found nothing.
Is that so? Then what had actually crashed into the water?
You're looking at it right now.
This tiny bacterium? You mean to tell me all the fuss was about this thing?
That's correct.
And where exactly had the bacteria come from, and how?
Your guess is as good as mine. Perhaps they're of alien nature, or maybe they're Earth-based.
How can you claim to be an expert and not be able to tell between extraterrestrial and earthly bacteria?
There are around 10 to 40,000 bacteria species living inside the human body, still unidentified, and that's not counting the ones outside our body. Now, how can you expect us to tell which ones are alien when we haven't yet discovered all their species on Earth?
I apologize. I wasn't aware of that. You're right. But still, I wonder how these bacteria had found their way into the dam water in the first place. And what was the whole crash report all about when you tell me that nothing was found there?
Well, actually, the thing that had crashed into the dam was a giant ice slab.
What? Ice?
Yes, and this mini iceberg had fallen straight from the sky into the dam.
My God. So the ice slab held the bacteria, and upon falling, the contents had dissolved into the water.
Precisely. That's why we didn't find anything there.
I remember reading similar news stories around the same time. The crashing of unidentified flying objects into rivers and dams. Have you heard anything about those?
Yes, despite their efforts, governments ultimately failed to keep the news from becoming public, and it all got leaked.
Has it also happened in other countries?
Of course, practically all over the world. However, since no tangible objects would remain of the crash in waters, governments could easily disapprove all claims and paint them as fake news.
And perhaps many others had assumed it to be a weather balloon, a meteorite, or even space debris crashing down.
Exactly.
But what was the actual purpose of spreading these bacteria inside the world's fresh waters?
We tested a sample from the dam water 2 years ago, following the crash, but didn't get any results. However, since that date, I've been testing the dam water weekly, and realized that the bacteria have duplicated at a great rate.
And infected the entire water?
Even worse. Unfortunately, this bacterial species proves to be quite resistant to water treatment, and has indeed found its way to drinking water supplies in the city.
You mean people have consumed this water?
Sadly, yes. I've run many tests on different people, and I can most certainly say that the bacterial species unfortunately now lives inside everyone.
Good God. What would be the point of inserting this bacterium inside the human body?
Extinction.
What? Human extinction? You mean they're willing to infect the whole population on the planet?
No, there are much easier ways to kickstart our extinction.
Like what?
They could practically forbid us from breeding.
What?
In the past 2 years, many tests have been conducted around the globe, and it's now proven that mankind's fertility rate is dropping. And according to the researchers, our reproduction will shut down for good in the next few years.
That's horrific. We always thought if aliens were to attack Earth, it would be through a bloody war.
Indeed. And that was our mistake, thinking that if aliens invaded us one day, they would do it our way. When in fact, this is the most efficient way they could wage war against us, with zero costs, no violence, and no harm done to the planet.
A several decade-long plan for the human extinction.
Exactly, just like that.